All right, it is that time of the year again. Very excited for this NBA postseason. And what I have started to make a tradition here at Hoop Theory the last couple of years now is to fill out my NBA playoff bracket. This year I'm going to do it a little bit differently just because the play-in tournament does start tomorrow. So that means I'm recording this on Monday, April 15th. And so what I'm going to try to do here today is actually just get a video out of me picking the play-in games just so we can have that out before those games start. Then I'll do a follow-up video where I finish the rest of the bracket. And then I'll come out maybe a couple days later. And also just by the way, I cut my hair myself just before recording this video. So hopefully it looks okay. I actually think I did a pretty good job, not gonna lie, but don't pay too much attention to it because now that I've said that, I'm sure you're probably gonna look for some flaws. Let's keep our focus on basketball here today. We'll start in the Western Conference, where the ideal situation for me, being a Nuggets fan, for those who don't know, would definitely be to draw the Pelicans the first round. So if New Orleans could beat the Lakers in this play-in game for the 7 seed, that would be the best case scenario. I'm pretty sure Jokic averages like a 30-point triple-double on his career against the Pelicans, something crazy like that. Pretty sure it's his best numbers against any individual team, and we seem to always win also against them. So I would have zero complaints there, but either way is fine. You know, more of a challenge for the Lakers to beat the draw, but at the same time, we've had their number as well. And I think just for basketball as a whole, the more entertaining outcome would definitely be the Lakers getting the 7 seed. And it's also what I think would probably happen if I had to make a prediction, which the plan is going to be really hard, obviously, because it's just one game each. It's not a series, so it's a lot harder to predict. But the Lakers, I feel like have gotten a little bit better as the season has gone along towards the end, I guess. You know, they started off the season pretty well, won the in-season tournament. Then they had a really rough stretch through most of the middle of the season, but now I think they're ramping back up a little bit. Anthony Davis has had a great year, going to be second team All-NBA for sure, and LeBron probably third team All-NBA, going to make another All-NBA team as a 40-year-old basically. I can't remember how old he is. I think he's 39. He'll be the oldest player in the league making All-NBA. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I would doubt that that has ever happened before. The oldest player in the NBA making All-NBA. Yeah, so that is who I'm going to pick to come out of the 7-8 matchup to grab that 7 seed to face Denver first round, which would send New Orleans into the game for the 8. And then over here in the 9-10, we've got Sacramento versus Golden State, which this is a really good matchup as well. I didn't even mention how good of a matchup this Pelicans and Lakers matchup is. Just the history there between Los Angeles and New Orleans. Not even just the stuff in recent years with Anthony Davis, that trade with Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, you know, but also going back to Chris Paul, the vetoed trade from New Orleans to LA. I think there's even more stuff you can go farther back for before my time, but yeah. But then over here with Sacramento versus Golden State, you know, two cities really close together. Golden State obviously being located in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and Sacramento just like an hour or two at most northeast of that, and they face each other in the first round last year as a 3-6 matchup. So I think that honestly this turned out pretty perfectly, you know, as far as those things go. And I think either team could win this game, obviously, but I think where my gut is pulling me is in the direction of the veteran team, more playoff experience, all that kind of stuff. And that is what is also informing my decision and who will make it in as the 8 seed. So I'm going to have Golden State, who's the 10, make it in as the 8, which I don't know if that's happened yet. You know, in this short history of the play-in tournament, it's only been around for a few years now. I don't know if a 10 seed has gotten in as the 8, but it's bound to happen at some point and could be this year very well. So yeah, that is the Western play-in. And then over here in the Eastern Conference play-in, this might be even more entertaining, at least for the 7-8. Like with the West play-in is awesome, honestly. Pretty sure the worst team in the play-in over here in the West has 46 wins. That's Golden State, 46 win team. And the 10 spot is pretty insane. Over here in the East, it's a little bit different. There's a clear top 8 because Miami, I'm pretty sure, has a 46 win record as the 8 spot. And then Chicago's like a 10 game. I don't know if it's quite 10, but it's like a hefty drop. Like I'm pretty sure they're not at 40 wins. Chicago, that is, at the 9. I can just pull that up. And yeah, the Bulls only have 39 wins. But from the 8 to the 10 seed in the East is a 10 game drop. So, you know, it's years like this where I kind of feel like we almost shouldn't even have the play-in over here in the East. Like the 7 and 8, it's pretty clear who they are. Like the first year that they did it in the bubble, how it was you needed to be within 4 games of the seed above you in order to trigger the play-in tournament. So you don't have like these fluke years where there's just like a ginormous gap between 8 and 9 or whatever. But that's just me. But either way, I'm entertained by it. I like the play-in tournament. Much prefer to have it than not at all. That's for sure. But that being said, this is going to be tough. Not knowing whether or not Joel Embiid is going to be healthy. I've almost even thought about filling out this bracket in 2 different like scenarios. One, assuming Joel Embiid as well as Giannis Antetokounmpo, just assuming they're not going to be healthy, you know, filling it out that way. And then also filling it out in a way where I'm assuming full health for both of them because I have no idea what we're going to see. So that makes predicting things very hard. But I guess, you know, obviously with Joel Embiid at least somewhat healthy, I feel like pretty decent about the Sixers' chances. And that's just what I'm going to go with, to be honest. I don't feel great about it, obviously, because of the health piece. It's hard to predict, but I'm going to bring Philly in as the 7 seed against the Knicks, which will put Miami in the game for the 8. And up here in Chicago versus Atlanta, I'm going to take Chicago in that game. They win a lot of clutch games. Atlanta's been kind of messy all year round, even though they're only 3-win difference, you know, in their records. Chicago's been, I feel like, a much more steady, reliable team overall. And that brings us to a rematch of the game for the 8 from last season. season. It was these two teams exactly in the exact same way, because Miami was in the game for the 7. They were the 7 seed though, I'm pretty sure, you know, in the standings before the play-in tournament started. So this is slightly different because they're the 8 now, but they were still in the game for the 7. They lost to Atlanta, and then Chicago beat Toronto in the 9-10, which got them in the game for the 8. So that is how we got a rematch here. And I'm going to choose the same outcome as last year in a probably very close Miami win. I'm pretty sure they were down. It was like kind of a comeback at the end of that game also, that Miami was able to pull out that win and then somehow make it all the way to the finals. I don't know if we'll see the same type of run this year, but Miami seems to, like every other season, have some sort of just wizardry that they pull out. And I think they did make an improvement this year in getting off of Kyle Lowry at the deadline, upgrading to Terry Rozier. And this year they also have Tyler Hero with them for the playoffs, which they did not have last year. Provides a very nice scoring punch to them. We got some young guys. Nikola Jovic was on the roster last year, but he was not a contributor really. This year, very different. He's definitely one of their top 7-ish guys. Same with Jaime Jaquez, rookie out of UCLA. I actually had him 4th on my Rookie of the Year ballot, which there should be clips of all these awards coming out soon, so be looking out for that. But yeah, that will conclude the play-in section of this bracket video. Be looking out for the rest of it very soon. Thanks for watching.